hope this video will bring you some inspiration. I feel like I'm always struggling to know what to make. I don't like making the same things over and over, and so I like to try new things, but it depends a little bit on how adventurous my family's feeling. So this video just documents us probably over the span of a week or more, showing some of the different meals we have or different types of foods we're eating. I made some jalapeno cheddar and chive sourdough loaves, and oh my word, were those ever delicious. It was my first time making this particular kind, and I'm hooked. I go in spurts with my sourdough. Sometimes I keep it going for a couple weeks, and then the next I literally don't use it for a couple months. So I had gotten it out, and I think that was the best sourdough loaves, artisan style, that I've ever made. And I was so happy with how they turned out. They made amazing sandwiches. The one loaf I actually ended up putting in the freezer to use for later. So that's always a good tip. If you can't use them both, just put it in the freezer and get it out later. It was definitely a really, really good recipe. I got it out of the Artisan Sourdough Cookbook. I have it linked in my description box.
It's a cold January day here in Florida, believe it or not. We had feel-like temps of the low 30s this morning, and it was cold. Anyway, I made a chef's salad. I'm not sure what else to call it. I kind of got inspired by watching Steph from This Golden Hour. She's a friend of mine, and she was making a Cob salad in one of her videos, and I thought that looked really good. I had lettuce that needs to be used up and various other veggies. I hard-boiled some eggs. I have a couple tomatoes from my garden, and I chopped up some deli meat, put a little bit of onion in, and diced up some mozzarella cheese because I didn't have any sharp cheddar or shredded cheddar or anything like that. So I may add some chicken to it yet. I'll just fry it up like this evening when we're ready to eat it, just to add a little bit more protein. I may decide to make a soup. I'm not really sure yet. I do have some leftover broccoli cheese soup, so maybe I'll just kind of use this and then put a couple other things together. Some biscuits. I've got some frozen things in the freezer from Wild Grain that I could probably add to it. So yeah, just going to kind of document some things over the next couple of days that we're eating. We're a family of 6, and we do have some family coming into town. My in-laws are coming this weekend. They're going to be around for the next week. They're not staying at our house, but we'll be here a lot, I'm sure. And so depending what we're doing, I might be able to film some of that. We're also having a football party on Friday night at a friend's house because the Buckeyes are playing, and it might or might not be their last game. So we'll see about that. So I'm taking jalapeno poppers to that. I'm gonna take you guys along for it.
Sometimes when I'm in a pinch, I make my own croutons. I didn't have any on hand at the moment, so I just diced up some bread and seasoned them, fried them in butter, and they're actually really, really good.
I'm going to make some barbecue meatballs. I'm gonna put them in the freezer so that I can pull them out next week if I need them. I just have a recipe from an Amish cookbook that I'll try to put in the description box if I remember. So I'm going to bake these for tonight to add as a side with our salad, just to kind of have some filler. I have extra anyway. And then the rest I'm gonna go ahead and freeze, and that might be for our Sunday lunch. I am also going to make the barbecue sauce just for tonight. I think I'll do the rest later on. I have some homemade ketchup that I canned and made last year. They don't love it as much just eating it by itself, but if I, mix it into other stuff, it's a good way to use it up. I like it, but I had actually gotten the recipe from Steph from this golden hour, and it calls for liquid smoke. I can't find any on hand. I thought I had some, but I don't. So I've just got some Worcestershire sauce here from Walnut Creek Foods. They are sponsoring today's video. I'll get into that later. And it calls for chopped onion, but I'm gonna be lazy and not worry about it. And there's garlic salt in there and a little bit of brown sugar as well. So I'm gonna pour it over these and then bake it at 350. Since I mentioned Walnut Creek Foods, I've been partnering with them for a couple years now, and I've talked about them pretty much on a monthly basis because it's something that I love recommending to you all. They are a food company based in Holmes County, Ohio, Ohio's Amish country, and I've shown it many times. Basically, they manufacture some foods and they distribute a lot of foods to stores across the United States. They have 2 of their own stores in Holmes County, Walnut Creek and Berlin. The Walnut Creek location is the biggest, and it's definitely a must-see if you are visiting the area. They specialize in deli, meats, cheeses, bulk foods. They've got canned goods. They've got a cannery section. They have, you name it. They do have an online website, walnutcreekcheese.com, for you to order things if you don't have locations near you. You can use my code Lynette for 10% off of your online order, and I'll leave all that information in the description box. It's a company that I grew up using products of as a little girl, and I just always love to recommend them to you all. Check them out and see what they're all about, and hopefully you enjoy it.
So I baked some Crescent Rolls from Wild Grain, and they are so delicious. I'm making some jalapeno poppers to take to a football party at a friend's house, and there was, 20 to 30 people, so I took quite a few. They were pretty small this time, but that's kind of all Detweiler's had, and so I just went with it. My advice with these is I generally will bake them. I have smoked them already. It just depends how much time you have, but something you can do if you do have a smoker is smoke your bacon ahead of time. I find that a lot of times my jalapenos are done cooking, but the bacon is not. And my sister had smoked her bacon before, and I loved it. It adds so much extra flavor to it. And you do not want to cook it too long. Like, you don't want to smoke it very long. It can't be fully cooked. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to wrap it around the jalapeno. So just smoke it for a little bit till it's partially done, and then you can wrap it around, and it's so good. I will try to put the recipe in the description box as close as I can, but basically it's made up of cream cheese. I put in a little bit of sour cream, some cheddar cheese, or whatever shredded cheese you have. I think I had like a Mexican or Colby Jack or something like that, and I sprinkled that in, as well as garlic powders, maybe a little salt, maybe some pepper. I also added some Parmesan cheese to this one, so it really doesn't, it's not like a science, but that's usually kind of the basics of what I put in. And then you're going to, once you have them all prepared, you can prep them and put them in the fridge for a while if you want, and then get them out and bake them at 400 for maybe around 15 minutes or so. It just really depends. Just keep your eye on them. Mine really shrank down by the time we got ready to eat them, but they were really good, and it's always a hit. up, we have some wings. This has been a go-to of mine for a quick, easy meal. We're trying to maybe do some more just protein here instead of always having carbs and things to go with it. And so this is something I grab at Detweiler's. Just some of them are marinated. They're like the New Orleans style, or I'll just get naked wings and season them myself. And then you just bake them at, I think, 350 or 375 maybe, for however long it takes to cook them. And then I also had grabbed a bag of the Alexia waffle fries seasoned and made those as a side, and it was very easy and quick. Next up, I have a chicken taco soup that I made for after church. I just had some frozen chicken tenderloins, put those in the bottom and seasoned them with some taco seasoning and added in some corn, black beans, diced tomato, kind of whatever you feel like putting in, honestly, or whatever you have in your pantry shelves. And then I added in some bone broth and tomato juice. And then I think I added in some more seasonings, maybe some cumin if you have some. I think I was almost out. But then you're just going to cook that for probably 3-4 hours or so. And you shred your chicken and that's it. Then we like to add in some cream or sour cream, some shredded cheese, and then tortilla chips. And it's just so good. Alright, switching gears, Oakland was turning 5 and she had requested a unicorn cake. I do not always make the cakes for the kids, but if I have time, I try to. And somehow girls' cakes are, I don't know, are they easier? Is it just because they're younger? I used to make the boys' cakes more when they were little too. And so I think it kind of depends on my mood, what I'm doing, but I just made a vanilla layer cake. Made some buttercream frosting and made some of it pink and the rest of it I left white just to put in as the filling. But I ordered a couple of accessories from Amazon, which made the cake cute. So it really was not difficult to decorate at all. I just ordered some of those things from Amazon to kind of add to it, and she loved it. Okay, so next I have a quick and very easy dessert. If you're looking for something, I have shared this in the past and it's not fancy, but the crumbs are what makes it so good. It is a chocolate peanut butter crumb dessert. I usually just layer it in a bowl, but the crumbs are made from graham crackers, peanut butter, a little bit of melted butter, and a little bit of brown sugar just to sweeten it. You could also use regular sugar, but that is the key to this dessert, is having the peanut butter in the crumbs. It's so good. And then I just mix together instant chocolate and vanilla pudding and add milk to it like normal, and then layer it with whipped topping in the crumbs. And it's so easy and it's delicious. I hadn't made it in a long time and I wanted to have a little bit of something on hand, and so that's what I came up with. I am making a jalapeno popper dip. I still had some of the filling left over from my jalapeno poppers, so I used that and then added a little bit more cream cheese to it. But I diced up some of that smoked bacon I had left over, and then also diced up some pickled jalapenos to put in the dip. And I have found a recipe, I think I found it in Joanna Gaines's The Green Cookbook, but also there's plenty of recipes online you can use, and I'm sure they vary a lot, but it was very easy and it's really, really so good. And you could ease up on the spice depending how much, heat you want. And it had a little bit of kick to it, but it was very good. And this was on a Sunday night. I just quick put this together so we'd have a little bit something to eat or snack on. We don't usually do big meals on Sunday nights.
I'm going to prep my lunch for tomorrow for church. My in-laws are going to be here. I think I'm making mashed potatoes, and I put some meatballs in the freezer earlier, as you saw. And so I think I'm going to do that and maybe try to make a Texas sheet cake or something if I get around to it. I have some other things to do today too, so kind of see how that goes. But the girls had some pineapple watermelon that I just got from Detweiler's, and I should try and clean the strawberries that I got too. I found a recipe on Pinterest that I've used before, I think, and it's a Texas sheet cake. So I will have all of these recipes linked in my description box if I didn't mention that before. Okay, I made the mashed potatoes today. I decided to try it this way. I'll just put them in the fridge overnight and then heat them up tomorrow morning. But I thought it would just eliminate a lot of work tomorrow morning. I don't always cook Sunday lunches, so hopefully it'll work. Because sometimes when you reheat mashed potatoes, it can kind of, if you overheat them, they become just overcooked, and I don't like that. So basically I just need to like heat them up, and then I'll brown some butter and put that on top.
And that is going to end the video. I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope it gave you some ideas. Let me know what you're making this week. And if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. I would love that. All right, see you next week. Bye, friends.